Hi everyone, I am Beth Jones. I'm the executive chef at the Campus Club at the University of Minnesota, and I am also one of the Mill City Cooks chefs. Unfortunately, we're going to have to be doing our demos throughout the summer on video, so this is my first shot at that. Couple months before everybody went into quarantine, my good friend Courtney Cheetah, who previously ran the student organic farm at the University of Minnesota, she and I taught a class at the Good Acre about how to plant a garden for each season and included recipes for how to use that stuff as the season progresses. And evidently, we maybe had an inkling of what was coming at us because I have a lot of plants in my backyard ready to go, and there's a number of things that are going to be available in a couple of weeks at Mill City, and I just this last weekend I picked a bunch of stuff up. It's kind of amazing how even when we're still pretty cold out, there's lots of local food available for us to eat. I've got carrots, I've got beets, I've got eggs, I've got chard lettuce, all kinds of stuff. So I am going to do one of the recipes that Courtney and I taught at our Good Acre class. This is something I invented a number of years ago at the Campus Club, and I call it the Rabbit Patch Salad. And it's supposed to just kind of look like it's a big platter full of all kinds of veggies, and it just looks like a rabbit should be sitting in the middle of it, munching away, and so there's lots of good local vegetables on it. And I'm going to start out by showing you a couple things first. So what I've got are some beets that I bought from Pam Beneke at the market. I've roasted 3 of them, but I'm just going to show you kind of the standard method I use for roasting beets. We sell so many roasted beet salads at the Campus Club. We have this amazing chef named Hilda who makes these salads kind of off the top of her head, and people love them. We've converted a lot of beet haters over the years. So I just wash the beets first. If there are greens on them, take them off. Use them. You can mix them into salads. You can put them in a stir fry. I am just rubbing this with a little olive oil. I have my oven preheated to 450. I like to do it pretty hot. So roasting beets really gives them a lot more flavor. I think a lot of people are turned off by beets just because they're used to having them boiled, and it's just not the greatest way to prepare them. When you roast them, it caramelizes all the sugars in them, and that in the oven. Now, I had different sizes. So this little one took about a half an hour. I'd say this one was maybe about 45 minutes. This was probably a full hour, maybe an hour and 10 minutes. I'm guessing that one's going to be maybe an hour and 20, hour 30. So this is a good thing to do just, when you're home. But we're all home right now. So just throw in a few beets, roast them, and you'll have them ready for the rest of the week. So to peel them, the olive oil kind of helps make them a little bit slippery. And sometimes if you just cut the root end off, I'm wearing these compostable gloves I have so that I don't stain my hands permanently. Sometimes the skins will just kind of peel off easily. They can be fairly loose. I'm probably going to help it out a little bit with the paring knife. These gloves are a little large. So you just take those bits of skin off, and having salted them, this sort of works the salt into the beet too as you're handling it. So I've got one peeled. That's probably just enough for this one salad that I'm going to do. I'm just going to slice it. Just going to kind of cut it into half rounds. Nothing fancy. And I'm going to put it in the bowl. Now, the other thing I like to add to this salad are eggs. The standard method I use for hard boiling eggs that works really well is I take an empty pot, fill it with water, but I leave about 2 inches from the top. Bring it to a boil, and then once it's boiling, then I add my eggs, just very carefully with a spoon or something so they don't crack to the bottom and open up. Then I cover it, lower the heat to a simmer in 18 minutes. They come out perfect every time. The yolks don't get overcooked. And when I cool them and go to peel them, what I do is I will drain the hot water off, put the cover back on the pan, and shake it around to crack the shells. Then I pour cold water in it and let it sit for probably about 20 minutes to a half an hour. I might change that water too so that it's cold again. And it seems that that membrane that's kind of hard to peel off sometimes gets loosened by sitting in the water. So I've done that with these. I'm going to go ahead and peel just a couple of them for now. But these are 2 things that are kind of nice to have. You know, if you're going to bother to do any, I'd do a fair amount so that you just have, you know, something to add to a salad. You can make a sandwich with them. It's just kind of a nice food to have available for snacking or whatever. So what I'm doing, I am putting them in the bowl with these eggs, or with the beets. And I'm just going to do one more of these. One of the things I kind of like about this is you can stain the eggs a little bit pink. Makes the salad look a little bit more interesting. And like I said, this is something we used to serve at the campus club at the U for Easter brunch, which we unfortunately weren't able to do this year. But you can see already they're kind of starting to turn pink. So I'm just going to kind of stir them around a bit and let them sink in there. So we get this out of the way. So I bought some beautiful lettuce at City. I've already washed it in my sink. I highly recommend buying a salad spinner. I tend to not be one for too many kitchen gadgets, but this is kind of a must-have in my book. Especially if you're trying to do a good job of eating a little healthier. You know, this one is about the right size for holding a good sized head of lettuce. And the beauty of it too is that once you've got it spun and dried off, you can store it. You can store it in this container in your fridge. So when you wash lettuce, I usually cut the stem off. Separate the leaves, but I try not to rip them, especially if you're not going to eat all of it in one shot. I think it's best to leave the leaves whole. They'll keep a little bit longer. So you want to get them as dry as possible, and I'm going to pull that out. And the way I like to serve this at home is on a big platter. You know, a big serving plate works well too. This was my grandma's serving platters. And I'm just gonna gently rip it up. If you had this is a head of romaine. If you had butter lettuce, I try to kind of keep it intact. I don't cut the root off right away. I sort of dunk it numerous times, try to get all the dirt out between the leaves. But if you keep that butter lettuce head intact, it just sits so nicely on your platter, and it looks really pretty too. So I'm just gonna kind of rip up enough for your family to eat in one shot. You don't really want to have a whole lot of leftovers of this. So I've got that set. And then this is like the perfect clean out the fridge kind of thing. If you've got, you know, a small amount of salami or leftover chicken from dinner, or even fish, put it on the platter. One thing that's nice about this is if you kind of group things, you know, a pile of carrots, pile of radishes, pile of salmon, whatever. people can kind of build their own on their plate. So if you've got fussy eaters, it's always good to encourage them to try new stuff, but it doesn't always work. So this way, I think if you give your kids or your grown-ups, your fussy grown-ups, a little bit more control over their own plate, it can be kind of nice. So I'm going to scatter these throughout just for today, so because it does look so pretty. But look at how fast I got that nice color. So throw a few of these beets on, and this salad, this is just kind of a formula for how to do this throughout the seasons. Now, in the spring, we're going to have asparagus real soon, and I've included that on this in the recipe. But change this up as the season goes. You know, I'm going to throw a couple of things on here that might be kind of out of season right now. Wash my hands off a little bit. I'm going to do a few carrots. Now, since these were organically grown, I'm not going to bother peeling them. I just feel like that's a waste of product and a waste of time, probably. And I'm just going to put them into, you know, little ovals like that. And you want to kind of tuck this in. It just looks really pretty. And we tend to eat with our eyes. Kids especially are a little more intrigued if something is colorful and beautiful, and especially if they had a hand in doing it. Now these are rainbow chard stems, or leaves too. I am not going to include the leaves in this salad. I'm going to save those and probably saute them in something later. But I am going to use some of the stems because they're so beautiful. What I like to do, you know, you'll see some kind of rough edges on. Just trim them up a little bit. And these have the same texture as celery, pretty much. And so they're kind of nice on a veggie platter. Just any place you would use celery. Try substituting this because it's just a little more interesting and pretty. So clean those up, and then I'm just going to cut them on the bias so that the shape is kind of long and pretty. These would be good in a stir fry. There's just all kinds of good stuff you can do. All right, I mean, look at that pretty color. So sometimes you get nice bright yellow ones too. Now, if you have extra, I mean, here's another little hint. Save these in your mason jars, your Tupperware jars, whatever, and you can throw, this is just kind of extra prep for your next meal or whatever, just for snacking on. Any extra veg you have, it's good to kind of give yourself a little head start on the next project. So these are totally out of season, but, you know, I'm going to throw them on anyways. I have some cherry tomatoes. Just wait until August, September. That's when you're going to want to load a salad like this up with all those great tomatoes. But I'm going to use what I've got. So here's another cool thing. These probably are not going to be around fresh in the markets for quite a while. Probably not until like August, September. This is a watermelon radish. And it's really one of my favorite things to use because of that color. On the inside is that of a watermelon. So, just taking the ends off, and I'm going to peel it. Now this one, I will admit, I did get this from one of the Mill City farmers. This was also from Pam Beneke. She, before the market was rolling, she actually brought some stuff to my house for me, which was incredibly kind. So, you know, a lot of farmers can store these all winter, and you may be able to find some in the co-ops, but keep your eyes out for them at the markets for sure, because they're really pretty. They can have kind of that nice radishy bite to them, and I like to have these in, you know, slice a whole one of these at a time, have it in the fridge in a jar just to add to, you know, rice bowls or other salads. They make a good slaw and they're good in kimchi too, if you ever make that. So I'm going to use my mandolin on this. Now, because this one has been in my fridge for a while, it is a little bit mushy. What you can do if that happens is just soak it in cold water for a couple hours in the fridge, and it will get crispy again. So make some more room here. Okay, the mandolin. It's one of my favorite tools, but it's also one of the most deadly. These things are pretty vicious if you're not careful. I am just going to cut this into rounds. They come with these blades, so you can cut them into cool strips. These blades are kind of vicious, but once you get used to using one of these, they're pretty fun. So I'm just going to shave this so that I have these pretty rounds. Now, like I said, these aren't terribly crisp right now. So for now, I'm just going to tuck them on the salad so you get the idea of it. Soak these in cold water. It'll revive them. Same thing with carrots. If you have carrots that have been around a little too long in your fridge. It's just a good way to use your food and not throw it away. It is Earth Day today, so. These are also good on sandwiches. We do a really good banh mi at the campus club, and we do a pickle with these. So, just gonna throw some of that on. All right. The last thing I'm gonna do is make a vinaigrette. I have a fair amount of lemons, and I'm just gonna use the same bowl I put the beets in. I'm gonna do enough vinaigrette to last me probably a week, because I'm definitely going to use this on other stuff. So I had one lemon I already zested. I'm going to use that for juice. I'm going to take my microplane. This is kind of a great tool for zesting. Otherwise, the fine side of a box grater will work too. And when you zest a lemon, you only want to go down, and you only want to really get the outside part of it. I don't know if you can see very well. The white part is called the pith, and it can be kind of bitter. So you want to avoid getting too much of that in your bin. So this is pretty much a standard recipe for any vinaigrette. The lemon juice is going to be my acid today, but you could substitute any kind of vinegar, rice vinegar, balsamic. I like red wine vinegar a lot. Oils, you can sub those around too. I'm going to use olive oil today, but you could do a little bit of sesame oil. You could do kind of a neutral oil. I really love sunflower oil. There's a lot of local manufacturers that are doing sunflower oil now too, so it's good to support the local guy. I'm going to grab a fork real quick. Oops. And I'm going to try to avoid the seeds if you can. I have some fresh chives popping out in my garden that I should have gone out and picked before I started this. Those would be delicious scattered on this, or in the vinaigrette too. That would be really nice and fresh and springy. You could throw other herbs in here. You could mix this with yogurt if you wanted to, or sour cream if you wanted a creamier dressing. And all right, that's probably, just do one more half. Going to be a little bit pink from the beet juice. Get those lemon seeds out. Okay, I'm going to do a pinch of salt. A couple grinds of pepper. I like it pretty peppery. And I'm going to do my oil. Now I usually do kind of like like 1 part acid to 2 or 3 parts oil. It depends on how acidic you like your vinaigrette. I tend to like it pretty acidic, so that's my preference. So try it at a at the higher ratio. If it's too much, just add a little more oil to it. I'm also going to add a tiny bit of mustard. This is just kind of a brown mustard. That's another thing you can get at the market. There are some people making really good mustards locally, so look around for that. All right. So you'll want to taste it and see if it's okay. That's good. You could add a bit of shallot to this. You could add some garlic, chives, whatever. One of the things we're really going to have to continue to be used to for a while, I think, is just using what we've got. A lot of grocery stores are out of things, and you just have to kind of figure out what you can sub, when you don't have everything in a recipe. So that is about it. So, I've got a nice vinaigrette to last me through a few meals. Got a beautiful salad with all kinds of stuff. You could throw cheese on here. In fact, I have some feta we need to use up. I might do that for tonight. Scour your fridge. Do an inventory of your fridge every couple days, because it's easy to lose track of a little bit of something that could be used up, and we all find those kind of ugly surprises every so often. So, this is a good recipe for using up those little bits of things. If you have any questions, we can probably be reached on the Mill City website. And keep your eyes open for great things to add to a salad like this. Keep your eyes open for more of these videos, and have fun cooking. Good luck.